This is no longer a joke. It has never been a joke, but this time around, it is more serious. That is what I mean. You might be wondering what I am talking about. Well, as it is right now, since science has failed, the next step is going to be brutal. Wunmi, whatever you want to do it now, because you'll be spending the rest of your time behind bars. And not just you alone. You and others, whoever it is that is telling you, don't worry, all station settled. Every one of you will be brought to book. Why am I saying this? It is because of the next line of action. You're about to hear some heavy. You're about to hear the next action that is going to be taken. In fact, right now, whoever it is that was around Mohbad, 72, 48 hours, and 24 hours to his demise, every one of them will be going to court. Every one of them will be going to court. First, they will be interrogated or whatever they want to do. If they want to get lawyers, whatever they want to do, they will be going to court. This is going to be a long one. And not just that alone. Not just that alone. An offer of 50 million naira has been provided for whoever it is out there that has information, video clips, whatever it is. You can even do it anonymously. That is how good it is. And even if you want to put your face to it, there is security for you. And what is this security? That's because Association of Nigerians in Diaspora have put heads together, and they said, we will be providing you safe pathway outside of Nigeria if you are afraid of those that claim that they are elite, or whoever it is that is out there that might be backing, fronting, whatever it is for this justice for Mohbad. Those that are in support of Wunmi and all of that. Because we've heard that there is a particular king, this politician, this and that. Whatever it is, regardless of their reach, we will be joining hands together to make sure that that person is safe. So 50 million naira, that's about 50,000, thereabout, let's say $60,000, $80,000 has been set aside, thereabout, that range, and even more for whoever has video, audio recordings, whoever it is, whatever it is out there. It will be useful in this. Now, this is to build up the case against. Do not forget that prior to the demise of Mohbad, his mobile phone had been wiped away. Like it was a process. Let us wipe out evidence. Let us wipe out password. Let us make sure that CCTV recording that was on cloud on Mohbad's iPhone, meaning it was transferred wirelessly on Mohbad's phone. Mohbad could check what was happening in his house via a particular app on his mobile phone. Every of this detail, everything, some of it were wiped away, so that this day will come. The day where we will be screaming and shouting for justice without having much to work on. Science has failed. Yes, science has failed. Imagine they said that there are no concrete evidence or anything that the toxicology and autopsy presents that they could use to nail whoever or to begin to work on the cause of the demise of Mohbad. Let us listen to this. Before proceeding, please like and share, tap on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell.
And when I went, since November, that was the first time I met him. After November breakup, and I met him in his vehicle. We shook hands, we greeted. His eyes were red, he was crying. And that is a cry from disappointment, a cry from being heartbroken and being disappointed. Not that he was crying like a baby, but he was crying, and we men, you can tell when a man is crying, when a man is hurt, even if he doesn't holler out the way some other people would do or ladies would do. And as I speak to you, I think I borrow some of those tears from his eyes. And as I speak to you, I'm teary right now. Because We have been disappointed. We are being put in a stalemate, standstill, because some people were waiting for the government. But deep down, most of us knew that the government would disappoint. And short of the government telling us, go to hell, they practically said, go to hell by saying, we don't know what happened to Mohbad. We don't have an answer. And the same government told us in that courtroom that 98% in an autopsy situation, they are able to identify the cause of death. The doctor gave us lecture on different procedures, mechanism of toxicology and pathology. And for me, you're telling me now that out of the 3 or 2% left, Mohbad falls in that. Because the man practically bragged in the beginning, you would get an answer in 98%. Now, sometimes you anticipate bad news, and when it comes, it hits you in a different way. If I told you that we did not expect what they say or what they said yesterday, it would be a big lie. It would be a terrible lie. We knew this was what would come, and instead of focusing on how to counter it, we've been badgering each other, attacking each other, analyzing, over-analyzing. I had to say this as a backdrop. Now, let me go to my point. The way forward is what everybody, if you love Mohbad, if you love Nigeria, if you love Africa, the way forward is what you need to focus on. The way forward should be the only thing coming out of our minds, our mouth, our action. If you're insulting anybody at this stage of the game, then you really don't know what we're fighting for. If you analyze and criticize somebody's error, you don't belong in the movement for justice for Mohbad. No human being is perfect. As I speak, some people will analyze and try to criticize what I'm saying. And as you speak, they will do the same thing to you. And in Yoruba, we say, Aruoja. All that would amount to noise and distraction. We've gotten the shock that we expected. Now we need to focus on getting Mohbad the justice he deserves. So the way forward, recommendation number 1 for me, which we did at the courthouse yesterday, is making, I want to encourage the world, and I mean global, to begin to think on the human resources. Science has failed us. We now need to rely on human information. We all know somebody knows something, but how do we get to fish that person out and protect that person? That was why we went to the courthouse on behalf of the African Television Foundation. We went out and we used the courthouse backdrop to announce the 50 million naira reward. Now, I want to thank those people who have supported and are encouraging. Lady Harris has been pushing this. Aristocrat understands this. Other people understands that now we need to rely on the people to come out and give us information.
Sorry, African Television, please. I'm not interjecting you, sir. Can I ask a question?
You can ask a question when I finish, please. I just need 2 more minutes.
Before you go on, please hold on 1 second, please. Is this 50 million reward? Is this certain?
It is certain, and it is beyond 50 million.
100%?
It is certain, and it is beyond. And let me tell you beyond, because We started with the 50 million naira reward from the African Television Foundation, but people have already started volunteering to contribute far and above what we planned. So when I say it is beyond, I want you to mark it down. We have not even started the full campaign, and people are already promising to add more to it. But what I want people to understand is why this 50 million. It's not about the money. It's about getting the information. The people behind what happened to Mohbad or that were around Mohbad, some of them may be afraid to speak. Somebody that knows something that can help us is out there, and that person may be afraid of the system, and we need to make provision for the safety of that person. And some of our partners, like Susie, Lady Aris, other people have made arrangements, including the African Television family. We promise to make sure that this person lives outside Nigeria. We are mostly diasporans that are involved. We all have citizenship elsewhere. We all have ways of helping you diplomatically to get out of Nigeria if your information is credible. And above all, you get 50 million promised by African Television and other funds that may come. And I repeat, that may come. So we need to push this to all the nooks and crannies of the world, that people should understand that we need this information and the person will be protected. I'm begging you, host. I'm begging you, journalists. We had 15 journalists yesterday at the courthouse. Go and start looking at your newspapers and bloggers. African Television invited 15 journalists out there yesterday, including those that were already on the ground on their own. So we are not playing. Now, I want to use this opportunity to plead with everybody. I borrowed something from Very Dark Man. I borrowed something from Very Dark Man. We are making a petition to go against the Commissioner of Police, the way they have handled this matter. Very Dark Man released a video, and if you haven't seen it, go and see it. It makes a lot of sense. It has political tonation. It makes sense because the head of the police should command or demand more from the police. And as we all know, or most of us believe, police has not done the best in this job. The Nigerian police has affected this investigation. They're not carrying people along. Mothers and brothers and sisters are crying, looking for information that the police should have readily be providing us. And because of their lapsity, a lot of so-called baby journalists, non-trained, uncivilized, got into this, and they've twisted facts and stories. Now it's time to bring everything back in line. I am asking every blogger, every group, every joiner that is out there to go out and file a fiat. We are doing it from the African Television family. We are bringing a fiat against everybody that was involved or around Mohbad, because the police has not or is not prosecuting them. The reason we are in this mess, the reason the media is a mess, or the bloggers or the whole movement is a mess, is because the police did not or has not arrested, questioned those that we think are suspects. Now, let me tell you, as a citizen, you have a right to file a fiat to the State Attorney General's office against anybody that you think is culpable. And when we all do that, as citizens, we get to hear from 15 to 21 or 26 or 27 or 30 people that were in the immediate vicinity of Mohbad in the last 72 hours of his time on earth. When we do that, we are doing the policing. We are now telling the police, I think Mr. B is a thief. Let Mr. B come to court and prove to me that he did not steal. Then Mr. B may tell us that it was Mr. Z or Miss Q that did it. When we use this strategy, we will get the answer that the public demands. Remember, we all believe somebody out there politically or powerful people. Fine, let them play their own role. We play our role. We have the law. We have the right under the law to file a fiat. If I think this host is culpable, I have the right to apply to the State Attorney General's office to file a motion to prosecute the host. Let the host now come and tell me what the host knows. I'm just making an example, guys, please. So the point I'm trying to make is we have a list of so-called 26 or some number of people that should have been giving us the true information, but they are not. And
it makes sense. It really makes sense to put in incentives, to put out something to draw people who are going to expose, who are going to tell us what we need to hear. Of course, if the police had done the needful, if the police had secured what needed to be secured, I mean, when they got wind of the demise of Mohbad, if they had swung into action, rather than chasing Mohbad's father away, not giving him the papers needed, the reports needed to deposit Mohbad at the morgue, if that was what they did, we will not be where we are today. We will not be analyzing and counter-analyzing and processing and unprocessing and all of that. We will be talking of something else at this time. But unfortunately, the police did not do the needful. They did not. They allowed this to go stale, not because they are not aware of what is needed to be done. Obviously, they are aware of what needs to be done, but they intentionally did not care about it. After all, to them, what is their business? Who is Mohbad? Mohbad is not important. Mohbad is not the son of anybody important in Nigeria that will sack them or something. They care less. So they didn't bother about it. They didn't do nothing about it. They did nothing about it. They did nothing. They kept quiet about it. They tried to hide their foolishness. They tried. We did not even hear that the police called in the officer of that police station that refused Mohbad's father the required documents. If you are to ask them now, if you are to ask them why, they will tell you according to some rules, some policy in the police, and they will not be able to quote what section it is in the act, in the police act, or the constitution that backs it up. They will not be able to. Why? What prompted that particular police officer to refuse Mohbad's father what he requested? He said that they should have reported the demise of Mohbad to them earlier before coming for report. Does it make sense? It does not add up. It does not add up. It doesn't make sense. So they are not doing anything about it. They are not doing anything about it. They are not telling us the measure, punishment. They are not telling us. They are not telling us the punishment. They are not telling us what they are set to do to make sure that such does not happen anymore. They are not telling us any of this. How does this make sense? How? How does it make sense? So they allowed the case to go cold. They refuse to do what we all know should be done. Mobile phones should have been confiscated. That is what they should have done. But they allowed them all to corrupt whatever it is. You know, they did whatever it is that they could do. Corrupted evidence, adulterated evidence, erased evidence. And the police only concluded from hearsay. They said having interrogated, having questioned the suspects and the witness, we have come to a conclusion that Mohbad bled profusely and that Prime Boy's account of what happened is not true. They had a serious fight. If it is true, how come Wunmi's testimony is different from what the police said? How come? So where did the Nigerian police get that information from? That Mohbad, where is the evidence? How come the pathology report, the pathologists can't tell us that, yes, from what we can gather and from this and that, Mohbad, we concord with what the police is saying. They said they don't have anything to show or to tell us the cause of the demise of Mohbad. Well, now we have to move towards getting justice for Mohbad using different means. That is what it is. Using different means. Using different means. Encouraging people to come forward with information like the audio recording of Wunmi and Mohbad. If that individual did not, I mean the friend, that friend of Wunmi, that is no longer Wunmi's friend, that they said, oh, the reason why she's no longer their friend is because she is a rat. No, talking about someone being a rat. How? Because she decided to do the needful. Because she decided to do the needful. Is that why this person is now a rat? He said, this person is a rat. That is why we chase this person away from our circle. Because this person cannot keep with your wickedness. So they said this person is a rat. That same lady is the one that exposed, leaked that audio recording that pointed to the atrocity or atrocities of Wunmi. Atrocities of Wunmi. We all heard the voice of Mohbad. That was the first time we could connect Wunmi and Mohbad, all the talk and the insinuation and all of that. That was the first time we were able to connect it together. The first time we were able to connect the dots together. Because Wunmi had presented herself as a woman of integrity, a virtuous woman that cannot even lie. That was the first time we could connect it together. That was when people started connecting to the songs of Mohbad, the lyrics. And they realized that Mohbad has been talking about what was happening in his life. So, this is for you out there, everyone. We have to keep our hands on deck. We have to do what we need to do about this one. Like you heard, that there are people who have information, but they are afraid of the so-called power that be. That is why you realize that many are holding back on certain information. I mean, those prime witnesses. Now, they have to also dig into the accusation laid by Wunmi, where she claimed that the industry gods, are they the ones that sent you to buy Mohbad? She said the industry gods, the industry gods, the industry gods. All right, who are these industry gods? Who are these popular, famous music artists in Nigeria? Promoters, who are these people? What did Mohbad do? What exactly is it? What is it about this industry gods? Talk about talent. We have other people that are also talented, like Mohbad, and even more talented than Mohbad. So what is it about the industry gods? What is it about the industry gods that you talked about? We want to know. It's time for us to now take this to the court. It's time for this to go to the court now, so that Wunmi can explain Wunmi can explain to us. Mohbad's father, he said, is not backing down. Even DNA is not backing down. Whatever needs to be done, he said he's not backing down on anything. Yes, he felt bad. When, you know, just imagine, he knew he had suspected it earlier. He knew. He had suspected this. He knew that this was what was going to happen. They already knew. It's like something that you know is going to happen. Like this is how these people operate. This is how they operate. They are going to come up with lies. They are going to tell us stories. They are going to say it is inconclusive. He knew. And eventually it became what he thought about. What people have been thinking. That they are going to come up with lies. They are going to say that it is inconclusive. Exactly. It all came out to be. So, their thought, plan, plot is to water down everything. In fact, we even heard that they decided to do this so as to make sure that no conflict, no riot, nothing. Just imagine someone will go like that. Someone will just go like that. Because the government does not want conflict, does not want riots. Can you believe that? Can you believe this? Can you believe this? That the government decided to do this. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that they decided to come up with these lies and say, oh, we cannot find anything. So they feel if we say we found this, we found that, it will compel people to go on the street to demand for jungle justice. No. If the government could give this update, if the government could give this update, I mean the pathologist, if the pathologist could give us something reasonable, the truth of what happened, no one is going to go on the street. People will trust. People will trust the system. That is the point here. People will trust the system. People will trust the system. That is it. People will trust the system. But with what they desire to tell us, the pathologist acting like a primary school student, talking senselessly, but let us just leave it at that. They said they could not find cause of demise, meaning there is no poisoning, there is nothing. So, and the body of Mohbad had degraded to a point where it's going to be difficult. They don't even know if, like, physical examination. Why can't they tell us about physical examination? That we did not find any cut on his body. Or, oh, sorry, when we found him, when he was brought, his body had been, cut. And we cannot really say this is coming from a blunt or sharp object. Imagine. I think the qualification of these pathologies must be questioned. It must be questioned. Because this is too much. Many people have passed away this way in Nigeria. And it's always inconclusive, or they will say they found this, the kidney dark, they found this and that's it. They don't know. They don't know what else. They don't know what to say about it. They don't know what to... That pathologist, go get a different job, man. Go and get a job different from this, because it seems you cannot process it. All right. Let's say we are not going to force even the pathologist to tell us anything. Let's assume that the pathologist could not even find anything that connects to what he is looking at. Maybe there is a specific request that they made, and he's saying the truth, that this is suspicious. We couldn't find anything that points to the demise of this guy from, and what would have done deeper search into it. But due to the degrading of the body of Mohbad, the cadaver, we cannot process this further. It is not possible for us to look into some other that we would have looked into. So we need to now rely on a deeper investigation. We are talking about human to human. Human to human. We have to, the police needs to now swing into action, confiscate phones and do more thorough. Yes, it is okay. It is okay. It is okay. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So let us work with that. Since science cannot give answers, then we have to use the traditional way or ways of getting answers.